to making that announcement coming up soon. Malik's going to be jumping in real soon. We're brought to you by Onora Whisky. OnoraWhisky.com is that premium American whiskey, OnoraWhisky.com. And if you drink, of course, make sure that you drink responsibly. Today's show, we're going to go more in depth about our takeaways from the game, and then we'll start to look at the Marshall Thundering Herd as they come in. So it should be pretty cool. Malik jumps in. We'll talk some more. But I want to get you guys' thoughts. The question of the day. Marcus Freeman, after the game on Saturday, said he told his players, look, we got a good team. We got a good team. How do you feel, LL Nation? Do you feel that this Notre Dame team is a good team after 1 week? How do you feel? Is this a good Notre Dame team after watching one game? Be interested in seeing what you guys think. You know what? I've gone through a myriad of emotions. Disappointment after the game on Saturday. Man, letting you guys just come on in. Malik's going to be jumping in soon. As I said before, myriad of emotions, right? Disappointment. Woke up Sunday morning, probably went from disappointment to a little bit of anger. Just understanding the missed opportunity and the opportunity that was right there within reach. And then it's like, ugh. And then having the opportunity to watch the game again, watch some film, and really see, what happened. You take a step back, choose not to overreact. Yeah, Tommy Rees needs to do a better job in a few areas. Tyler Buchner needs to identify situations to take shots and to use his big-time players to take those shots with. Offensive line has to compete. They have to compete. Like, if you get beat, you get beat. But you just can't miss assignments and just give free reign and free passage to Tyler Buchner and to the run game. That can't happen. And I'm sure Harry Heastan is going to let that be known this week in practice and the film sessions. And then on top of that, the defense. Al Golden did a phenomenal job with the game plan. And we're going to talk about that because one of the things that Marcus Freeman said yesterday in his press conference is that he was pleased with the preparation. And I can honestly say that the one thing that has jumped out in the 2 games that Marcus Freeman has been the head coach of Notre Dame is that they have been prepared. How many times have we heard a head coach come to the podium after a loss in a big game and say, man, we came out flat. The players didn't do a good job of making plays and showing urgency early on. And this was the same speech we would hear every time after a big game that Notre Dame was involved in. And honestly, if you saw the post-game coverage of the LSU Florida State game, it was the exact same speech. He gave the exact same speech after losing to Florida State. So I feel good about this program as far as being prepared for teams in big games. I feel comfortable with that. Marcus Freeman phrased it as being able to close games. We have to be able to close games now. And closing games is about making plays, right? It's about making plays. Obviously, if you're in the game in the fourth quarter, you're good enough to win the game. If you're in the game in the fourth quarter, you're good enough to win the game. But are you good enough to make the plays? Like when everyone knows what needs to be done, are you good enough? Ryan Day got the ball back with a lead and knew that he had to run the ball. and they were able to run the ball and seal the game. That is the trademark of a program and a team that knows how to close games. And that is the next step for the Fighting Irish. Don't talk about it, be about it. Learn how to close games. When people know what you want to do, can you get it done? Close games. Lucky has stepped in the building, the original
That's
Lucky
right.
Lucky. And we're going to talk about our biggest takeaways. Our biggest takeaways before we start talking about Marshall. What were the biggest takeaways from the game? I'll start with your first one, Lucky. What was your biggest takeaway from Saturday night?
Biggest takeaway from Saturday night, it just felt like another season that is going to be really good for the Irish defensively and just overall team competitive dominance. I think it's looking more like an 11-2 season, something similar to what we face. I think, if anything, we'll just have better numbers defensively, statistically better. Have a lot more guys drafted on the defensive side of football. Offensively, it'll be a growing phase. I think we'll get better as the year goes on and Tyler gets more comfortable. But a lot of these games aren't going to equate to what this first game could have meant. So it's going to be an anticipation factor until we get upon those Clemsons and USCs and BYUs of the world.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting as they go throughout this schedule, watching them progress. But at the same time, you just know other teams are progressing as well, right? So 2 weeks from now, we literally could go face North Carolina, and they could be much better than they were the first two games defensively. And if they take a step forward defensively, that could be a tough game because they've shown offensively that they can put points up. So that's going to be the interesting thing to watch. Like, it's not just about Notre Dame progressing. Other teams around the nation are going to be getting better as well. So as Marcus Freeman said, he's looking forward to leading. He said this has been a dream. He's looking forward to leading this team out on Notre Dame Stadium's field on Saturday. But he said, we're going to be ready. He was asked, are your guys, how are they going to be feeling this week after that loss? He was like, don't worry about that. We'll be ready to play. And he talked about that. And he talked about not holding back, keeping the same intensity in the preparation for Ohio State. It doesn't matter that it's Marshall. We're going to have the same intensity, same amount of practice, and we won't pull back as far as practice probably until the end of the season when we start to worry about our guys being worn down. So my biggest takeaway, and, I said this yesterday, but it was my aha moment. That next step isn't coming into that quarterback situation in big games gets better. It's just not. It's not. We can talk about recruiting. We can talk about skill positions. You have to at least be equal or better than the opposing quarterback in big games. The disparity can't be large. It can't. You can't have it. Because when it comes down to the big moments, you have to have a guy that can go out there and make plays, right?
That's right. That's right. You got to have a guy to be able to do that. And it just became evident in a time where everything else around it looked pretty even. The running game on both sides was a little stifled. The drives were a little stifled. The momentum was at a staggered point. I think what really took it over the top was making those elite throws, one or two throws that get you those first downs that really, stem the offense in the right direction. And I think that's a lot of what Ohio State was able to, finally get over the hump. We
Mm-hmm.
talked about it yesterday. That play call that ended up being the touchdown that everybody in the stadium, probably everybody watching, knew that was going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
Once they got over that edge of, okay, we're beating them and we're winning in the game, I think at that point, it shifted a lot for us. It put us back in the, oh, what are we going to do now phase, and Ohio State just sat in the driver's seat. And CJ sealed the game with a couple more throws after that. So I do think that it'll be interesting to see if we get down in the season again, do we have a game plan to be able to rally back from that?
Yeah, I agree with that. And it's amazing that we keep talking about this, right? And I said, I was, man, flat out honest when we were talking about recruiting over the summer. That the most important piece of recruiting to be done as far as the quarterback room, and this is with CJ Carr in the fold for 24. Tyler Buchner's development is going to be paramount. It has to be seen. Quarterbacks in the 25 class, 26 class, they have to see it. You have to be able to display how quarterbacks can and will be developed in your program. As much as we sit and talk about Stetson Bennett shows as a walk-on at Georgia, you can come here, be developed, and win a championship.
That's right.
Kirby Smart can walk into the best quarterback's living room and to look in the eyes of his parents and the young man and say, hey, if you're a walk-on, we can develop you. You can win a championship here, and you can possibly get to the NFL. That's what we do.
Mm-hmm.
We don't have that pitch yet.
No.
At Notre Dame. So, question of the day, once again, if you're just chiming in and tapping in with us, Marcus Freeman, after the game, said that he told his team immediately after the loss, guys, we're a good team. We have a good team. Do you agree, LL Nation? Do you think after one game that this is a really good Notre Dame football team? Or do you still have to wait and see before you start feeling that way? Basin Domer says, at this point, thank you for tapping in. ND is a 10-2 or 9-3 team. Defense looks good, but lots of questions on offense. But they came out with better energy and not flat. Our linebackers are still too slow, and tackling is weak. Our boy NWJR, the quarterback has to be given the green light to do those things. I don't know what things he has to be given the green light to do. I explained this yesterday, after watching the game and watching film, bro. As much as we wanted to lament Tommy Rees and the game plan, going back and watching the game, there were at least 4 to 5 key plays in the game where Tyler Buchner chose himself over getting the ball to his best players. I don't know what green light he needs. That's quarterback 101. That's QB 101. You see Braden Lindsey 101 with no safety help. That's where we're going. You see Michael Mayer on 3rd and 7 on the first drive, 3rd and 9 on the first drive going in, man-to-man against a small safety. That's my matchup. And you don't need a coach doesn't have to tell you that. You recognize that? Once again, can you reiterate? You had 2 starts, 1.5 starts at Notre Dame before you got hurt. Can you please reiterate how upset Brian Kelly would be with you? Because you would get a play and pre-snap, you would see Will one-on-one. And what would you do?
I'll throw it.
And it would be a run play.
Yeah. Yeah. I think a lot of the times it goes back to, playing within the system and the style of play. You're calling plays because you want to take the lesser so you can add to the drive, but there's things within those plays that you can take shots. And so for a guy that has to be aggressive, I think what they're meaning by, having to take the handcuffs off Tyler is let Tyler be aggressive. Let Tyler be a reason why we lose the game. If Tyler throws for 335 yards, 3 touchdowns, and 2 picks, and we win, that's a team that's led by a quarterback. That's a team that I will feel as though how Ohio State led their team. Good defense, great led by great quarterback play, and you usually got a formula for success. Alabama, great defense, led by a 5 touchdown quarterback play from Bryce Young. Yeah, they got some run game. Yeah, they got some O linemen, but that quarterback is the reason why. If we were to play that style of football in the Ohio State game, and let's see if Tyler Buchner can get 300. We know Tommy's play calling can, against that same defensive structure, can get 500 yards with better players and more progressed players than the year before. The same guys are there. Michael Mayer's still there. Lorenzo Styles is still there. Lindsey's still there. Throw Jaden Thomas in there. Throw them other 2 tight ends in there. You got Chris Tyree. All the guys from the Fiesta Bowl that had 500 yards were in this game.
Yeah.
So that's the style we have to play with in those big games. It's got to be quarterback driven. If Tyler Buchner went out there and threw 3 picks, had 400 yards, and we lost by the same score, we would be talking a whole different light. It would be a whole different light.
Yeah.
But because Tyler Buchner had underwhelming numbers, Ian Book-like numbers, you can't really put the blame on him. But then you really can't put the blame on anything. You're just like, oh, we just didn't execute. We didn't do this. We didn't do that. Audrey Estimate had less than 10 carries. How does that happen?
And was the most effective running back.
So we didn't depend on the quarterback or the running back to win the game. The 2 main guys we've been talking about this whole time outside of Michael Mayer and Styles, they didn't even really get a chance to impact the game. Neither did Lorenzo. So if I told you going into the game, Lorenzo Styles is going to have 2 targets and 1 catch, Audrey Estimate is going to have 8 carries, and Tyler Buchner is going to be your leading rusher, and we're going to throw for under 200 yards. You'd be like, what were we doing all season? We might as well have Drew Pine in there. We got enough running backs to where Tyler Buchner should never be the leading carrier. If you had Drew Pine in there, I'm sure we would have attempted 30-plus passes. Because we got the guys to do it. It's not like Ohio State took away our pass game and we just had nothing but running. Ohio State didn't take away our pass game. We took away our own pass game, which is crazy. It's just crazy that's the situation. Not, oh, we made a couple wrong calls on offense. Tyler made a couple bad decisions. We lost the game. It was like, shoot, I wish we had another quarter, maybe. Like, you run into a brick wall or something.
Yeah. Lucky Lefty podcast. That's a perfect segue because Marcus Freeman, when he met with the media, actually talked about Tyler Buchner and his performance. I'm interested in seeing if you agree with him, Lucky.
Tyler was, I wrote it down here, I don't know, even 8 of 8, but like 8 of 10 in the first half, something like that. I mean, he did. I mean, that's really good. And they had sent me some number for a QB rating. I don't know much about QB rating, so I told him I can't use that. But I was really pleased. And the other thing is 0 turnovers, you know, and the plays he was able to make with his legs. And he got beat up now. I mean, and we knew going in that game we were going to have to run Tyler Buchner. That's not our plan every week, but we knew that game in order to try to establish maybe some run game, we were going to have to run him a little bit. And he got hit, and he continued to get up and keep going. And they said on the sidelines that he was the leader. He was getting guys going and positive. And, I mean, we got ourselves a quarterback, and there's a strong belief in what he can do for this football program.
That's not what I want to hear.
I was about to say, why are you shaking your head, Luck?
That's not what I want to hear about our quarterback. I don't need him to be taking a bunch of hits because we have recruiting. Audrey Estime is the biggest running back in the country. He's the guy you're saying, dang, he took a lot of hits, but he's built for it. This is the quarterback we talking about. The team is not going to be galvanized by Tyler being beat up in the run game. I'm not encouraged by that we're going to win tough games if that's the reason why. That's not how you win in games. We're not excited that because that's the cop out, the plausible deniability. Oh, he didn't have turnovers. You didn't give him a chance to even turn the ball over. You didn't even put him in harm's way. So of course you happy with the safest thing that you did. You was conservative, he was conservative. So you happy that we was conservative. Conservative gets you 7 points. Really, conservative gets you nothing. We got a risky play. The one play he did put it in harm's way. It went for 54 yards the first play of the game. So that's not what we should be excited about. We shouldn't be excited about that Tyler is taking huge hits and making huge runs and leading the team and all of that stuff in the run game. I want to see, man, Marcus Freeman go up there and say, man, the way he took a shot, throwing on 3rd and 8 for the touchdown, sending them boys home, we got ourselves a quarterback. The way we went down in 2 minutes and he dotted them boys up, made a play when the play call wasn't that great, made a guy miss, picked the lineman up, we got ourselves a quarterback. Not we ran the ball 10 times with him, he took a bunch of great hits, and he didn't turn it over. He didn't fumble. Nobody's going home with moral victories today.
Yeah. I can't push back. I can't push back on that. Jamie McNeil, thank you for tapping in. How do you know that Buchner had the green light to call audibles? We're not talking audibles, Jamie. This is RPO. This is 2022. You have a quarterback that has Chris Tyree run out. Chris Tyree running out is an option on the play for a quick screen. Another option is the quarterback sneak. And another option is the backside receiver. Like all of that is rolled into one play. It's up to the quarterback to choose what's the best option. And fourth quarter, down 4 points in Ohio State's territory, 3rd and 10, the best option is not a quarterback sneak.
And what really gets me upset is the fact that it's like, listen, next week and the week after next, our offense is going to look totally different. You're going to see Tyler Buchner. You're going to see Tyler Buchner throwing it all around the yard. You're going to see all types of deep play actions and all types of running backs getting all types of carries. That's upsetting for me because why wasn't we doing that in week 1? We don't attempt the things we attempt in week 2 and week 1. It shouldn't matter. If we had an identity, if we wasn't scared, it doesn't make sense. I guarantee you, next week, Tyler Buchner's going to have 250 yards. We're going to see plays and guys running down the field, all up and down the field. You're like, man, why didn't we run this last week? Oh, I didn't know Lorenzo Styles was that fast. Oh, we got him 5 targets. He got 100 yards and 5 targets. Oh, we can't even see the growth of the offense. Well, I didn't see the growth of the offense on Saturday. And that's what was the more disappointing thing. Saw the growth of the defense. Wasn't perfect, but I know that is there. Offense, what was the growth from last year? If anything, offense, we ended the year better than what we started this year. I felt more confident in last year's offense, and we didn't even run as much as we should have with a worse quote-unquote offensive line than coming into this year being like, what? What do you even say about this offense this year? Bland, not impressive. A bunch of cute motions and all that stuff that don't,
Ohio State wasn't falling for the motions, bro. All game. Like, no. And they brought the 9th guy down into the box to specifically stop Tyler Buchner in the run game. The only time you got consistent is when you simplified the run game with Aldrich Estime and ran down.
And ran straight. And he's breaking tackles left and right.
I keep telling people, you put your offensive line at a disadvantage when you offset the running back They know the direction you're running in. All the backside dude has to do is keep contained on the pitch. If they pitch, I have to get out there. We know they're going this way. Now the D tackle is trying to come across the face of your interior guys and get to the backfield and mess the play up. It irritates me, man. It irritates me. You watch CJ Stroud, he's under center. Then he's shotgun. Offset. Bryce Young's the same way.
Same
way. Like
easy play calls. Easy, just dump down, get you a run, get you a pass, get you a screen.
Man, you know how many times I saw them throw a little swing pass to Will Shipley last night? And DJ's not a good he's not a good quarterback.
But they're just
think. But Brandon Streeter gave his best players an opportunity to have the ball in their hands. That's what he did. And every time DJ Uiagalelei saw number 80 one-on-one, he went to him.
What did CJ Stroud do when they got 7 points? When in doubt, they went at Cam. When in doubt, they went 4 plays at Cam. They just said, wherever Cam is, we have a better quarterback, and he's going to make a better throw against Cam. We don't care about nothing y'all doing. And we're going to go back to back to back to back.
Right.
When would we ever do that? When was Tyler Buchner like, man, they got number 5 out there. Me and Styles just about to link up back to back to back to back plays. Never happened.
This is when you come out of a big game like that and people say silly stuff like Notre Dame doesn't have talent.
Exactly. Now nobody think we got the talent. Everybody think Ohio State was a better team. Yeah, come on.
It's the same skill players, the absolute same skill players that Jack Cohn just threw for 500 yards.
The absolute
same defensive concept.
Same defensive concept.
The same defensive concept. They did the same thing Oklahoma State did.
More inexperience in secondary because it's the first year of the defense. Like all the advantages. Tommy threw the ball 60 times.
And this is the encouraging thing, bro. If you watch the film, you watch the coach's film, you're like, dudes were open. Dudes were open. Now you could be upset because Tyler was getting hit. Offensive line didn't do a good job of protecting him. Didn't give him enough time to throw. But you go watch a coach's film. Look, coach's film shows that Braden Lindsey was right about himself. He's not the same guy. He had Denzel Burke beat at least 3 times. And if it was a better ball, he scores because he had Denzel Burke beat by like 5 yards. He had to slow down to catch the ball. On the play, 3rd down, he beats Denzel Burke inside on the skinny post. Ronnie Hickman just happened to come under the ball. And the ball was behind him. On that play, Styles is coming wide open across the middle. Wide open. That's not on Tommy Rees. Tyler has to see that safety sinking into that route and go to the other side of the field. And he would have saw Lorenzo Styles coming across the middle wide open. These are the growing pains when you have a young quarterback that has to get better quickly. Like he doesn't have time to grow. No, he has to be better quickly. He has to. And when you know as a quarterback that you have to get better, I said Tyler has this concept, and we talked about it all summer. He believes that when he steps on the field, he's the best player on the field. He trusts himself and his legs to be able to make the plays. It was like that in high school. When he played last year and he came on the field, he played the exact same way. He has to realize, when I face these other teams that are just as good as us, I can't outrun everybody. Now I have to use my guys. I have to give them a chance. I have to give them a chance.
That's right.
And that's it. Like I get sick and tired of people talking about, look, I understand. But people that sit and talk and don't watch film and don't talk to people that watch film, that are actually in the business, that try to come out with these narratives that the national media, like I said, somebody from the Athletic that covers Notre Dame. Like Notre Dame was tough. They played a great game, but Ohio State just has better talent. The dude that caught the go-ahead touchdown was a walk-on. It was a walk-on. Like, what are we talking about? He was a walk-on.
Terrible.
And it becomes upsetting because we see plenty of Notre Dame wide receivers. For years, Notre Dame fans, they're not good. They can't separate. But somehow, some way, they end up on the NFL roster.
Somehow, some way.
Notre Dame fans used to say that your boy couldn't separate. All he could do was block and just be bigger than everybody. He goes to the Pittsburgh Steelers and takes everybody by storm as a rookie in camp.
And the only people he was surprising is non-players.
So I don't want to hear this. Notre Dame doesn't have talent. Lorenzo Styles is talented. Jaden Thomas is talented. Tobias Merriweather is talented. I don't want to hear that.
Don't want to hear it.
The point guard and the coach have to be better. Period. The coach and the quarterback have to be better. The O-line is going to get better. They're going to get better because guess what? They're not going to be facing the same level of competition for about 6 games.
Yeah.
So they'll work. Harry Heastan will get them better. They'll be better this week. But man, oh man, you're not winning big games if that quarterback isn't ready.
Right.
It's not. And as bad as most people think Tommy Rees was, as you just laid out, bro, there were 3 to 4 plays in that game that could have changed the outcome if the quarterback had made a better decision. Had nothing to do with the play, had nothing to do with the design. If the quarterback had made a better decision, the score would have been different. So I'm like everybody else in the chat. I have no clue where Tobias Merriweather was. I don't know. I know on the defensive side of the ball, they felt very comfortable playing their freshman at defensive back. Very comfortable. Very comfortable. But we told you that during the fall camp that they were earning it. Like they were earning the time. You know, we saw Jaden Mickey play outside. We saw him come inside and replace a guy, Tariq Bracy, right before that touchdown.
Mm-hmm.
Marcus Freeman said, yo, matter of fact, let's hear from Marcus Freeman. Because I know LL Nation and a lot of people feel a certain way about that double fire, 3rd and 11 for Ohio State that eventually led to the go-ahead touchdown. But Marcus Freeman said, look, that's what we wanted to do.
No, it was right before timeout. And we had a timeout, and I remember Coach Golden said, hey, do you guys like whatever the call was? And it was a 0 pressure, and I agreed. Everybody else agreed. And, you know, you look at the execution of that play. It's not the call. You know, it's 3rd and 11. We had said going to the game, we had a plan for 3rd down, and one of those plans was to be able to bring 6 and be able to play a 0 pressure. We had not run that all game, and we said, okay, here's a good time for it. And, the execution of it wasn't where we wanted. The safeties were a little bit too late. We had a guy drop out when he probably should have been going. We got to get inside leverage with the nickel, and you got a freshman in that big moment. And if we could again go back and do it over again, I wouldn't change the call. Probably just change the way we communicate and the execution of it. But man, that was a heartbreaker, and obviously changed the tide of the game.
I don't know.
You and I, we communicated at that moment. We felt like, why? That was like, we were like, why? Force the field goal, 10-10 in the fourth quarter. Why? But you have to respect the fact that Al Golden was willing to be aggressive.
Yep.
He was willing to be aggressive.
But that's our identity, so I can't even be mad about it. Like I said, I'm with Marcus Freeman. I'm not upset about the call. I just think, like he said, communicating it better would have been the most helpful thing in this situation, just because of the fact that if it hit, it would have been a genius play. You know what I mean? Would have forced him to go out of, kick the field goal, wouldn't allow CJ to be the playmaker to buy time. I don't mind.
If you're going to fire on that play and get 6, I would rather you fire your linebackers. Me personally.
Not with Bo Bauer in the game.
I just don't. It wasn't executed well. I just don't want my safeties coming from 10 yards.
I think they may have gotten in the call late.
Well, they were coming out of a timeout. You can't. They called timeout.
Them timeouts be long, man.
They call timeout, so you can't use the call coming in late as an excuse. It's like this is what we're doing, and this is where communication comes in. Because the DB coach sees that Tariq Bracy just went out, so he has to. Jaden, make sure you have outside technique. Do not let him inside of you. Like, make sure that everything is tied up before they take the field on a play like that. That's a huge play in the game. Absolutely huge play. And that was our joint takeaway, number 2 for both of us. I don't know if you needed to blitz right then.
Yeah.
Like, you were playing with them. You had them 3rd and 11. Drop 7. Make them catch the ball in front of you. Tackle. Field goal kicker had already missed one for Ohio State. Maybe he misses another one.
Yeah, maybe he missed another.
Get the ball, go down, score. All right. And our 3rd and final takeaway. Look, I don't know about you, but despite us feeling the way we felt about the second takeaway, I like Al Golden, bro.
Oh, hell yeah. Oh, yeah. I was like.
I like Al Golden. I'll tip your cap. I know you want to bring up Cincinnati. Go ahead.
No, I mean, listen, I like Al Golden from the fact that I like what Marcus Freeman did in terms of moves needed that needed to make the next level jump. It's one thing in getting a great defensive coordinator, but then to go above and beyond to get somebody that's at least in his prime or hot right now, I think shows the courage to go do that, but also be able to, have a chance for Al Golden to feel a part of the team. So I love what he's doing and what he's adding. Like he said earlier, he's not changing the defense. He's adding his stuff to a defense that's already there.
Mm-hmm. Alex Rohr, thank you for tapping in. Who else would you rather have out there? Pine wouldn't be any better. Please don't. Once again, we have to constantly explain. Just because we critique someone doesn't mean we don't like them. Like, our job is to critique the game. And we watched the film, and there was blame to place on Tyler Buchner in this game. We can talk about Tommy Rees not putting him in position, not making the right play calls. There were opportunities to take advantage of Ohio State, and Tyler Buchner didn't do the job. Has nothing to do with not wanting him to play. He didn't get the job done, and he has to be better. Once again, lucky Lefty. We're not talking about when they play Marshall. We don't care about Cal. We're already looking forward to Clemson. When they face Clemson, he has to be better.
Yes.
Period. When they face USC, he has to be better. Period. Going out there beating up on Marshall, beating up on Cal, that doesn't mean anything. Not to us. That doesn't convince us that you're a good team. It doesn't. The next time to prove to us that you're a good football team is in November. When you face Clemson and USC, that's when you get the opportunity to show us just how good you are. And there's no reason when you have quarterback development. Now, this goes beyond Tyler Buchner. When you show that you have quarterback development within your program, your quarterback should be able to identify opportunities to get his best players the ball in key moments. That's quarterbacking 101. That's not asking too much. Has nothing to do with Tommy Rees. Recognize the opportunity, get the ball to your guys. That's it. That's it. There were 3 to 4 opportunities for him to do that. He didn't get it done. And that could have changed the entire outcome of the game in spite of what you felt about Tommy Rees and his play call. So it's not about Drew Pine. It's like Joe H., starting field position, also plays somewhat into the game and offensive play calling. We said this yesterday. We're going to say it again. Notre Dame was in Ohio State territory 6 times and got 10 points. In spite of all of that you just said. In spite of field position and all of that stuff you just said, they were in Ohio State territory 6 times and came away with 10 points. Can't do that. Can't do it. You can't do it.
Can't do it.
No. So the field position wasn't effective enough to stop them from moving the ball into Ohio State territory. You have to
I don't get it.
Especially, this is the killer. You can't shorten the game. Marcus Freeman said that was their game plan. Shorten the game, run the ball, lessen their opportunities, which means you have less opportunities, and then you don't take advantage of the opportunities.
And then you happy with punting.
Yes, that's the problem. That's the problem. You can't lessen the opportunities in the game, allow that to be your game plan, and then don't take full advantage of the opportunities. You can't do it. So like you said, bro, either you open things up and trust your defense and give them a couple more opportunities, or be more efficient on offense and put points on the board. And that's why those 3-4 plays that we're talking about with Tyler are so premium, because you weren't going to get more opportunities. You can't miss Lorenzo Styles wide open down the right sideline. I understand. Linebacker was coming in his face. That's quarterbacking. Big time quarterbacks make that throw with the linebacker coming in their face. That's quarterbacking. You have to be able to make plays without having a clean pocket. You have to be able to make throws. Heck, the throw he made on the first play, he had a linebacker in his face. And it was a darn good throw to Lorenzo Styles. So he already showed you, the first play of the game, that he can make throws with people in his face.
Yeah.
So he had another opportunity. He overthrew him. He missed it. That's a touchdown. Have to be able to make the plays. That's all we're saying. You can't, please. There was only one podcast connected to Notre Dame last year that was asking for Tyler Buchner to start from game one. And that was us. You know why? Because we saw this season and the promise it had. And we said, let him rock, let him learn. You're good enough as a team to win games with him. By the time you get to next year, he'll be ready to win a championship.
Yeah. That's true.
Our guy, Orange Glove Guy. He said, we're still fair catch you. Yeah, that's something that we both.
That's an issue. Huge issue. Fair catch you is a huge issue.
Yeah. Like, I don't know what that's about. I don't know.
Like, we don't even have the attempts to want to, like, I don't know. We don't have the attempts to want to even take it and take a chance or even block for it. It usually looks like we don't even block for it.
Yeah. Let's see. The return unit was questionable, and I'll be interested in hearing what Brian Mason has to say if he talks to the media this week. But I've had a couple of people that watch film tell me that they were setting, maybe you understand this, they were setting too late on the kick returns.
Ohio State's kick special teams, especially kickoff, is just so special. I mean, even when we played in 2015, I just remember that they'll kick off and be literally on your 10.
Mm-hmm.
By the time you're catching it, you're making guys miss at the it was I knew that was an underrated thing going into the game, but every time they find a way to get that special teams really good.
Mm-hmm.
They did it to Penn State with Saquon. They kept pinning them back and back and back. It's hard to climb out of that after a while.
Yeah. And I see someone in the chat. I totally agree. I have no clue. As aggressive as Ohio State was in the front seven, I have no clue how they didn't call a screen in the first half. I have no clue. None.
We're too busy trying to be cute going side to side and shit.
Have no clue. Ohio State, with the stunts they were running, they were begging to be popped with a big screen pass. They were begging for it. And it was almost like Jim Knowles just basically said, I know Tommy Rees, I know what he's not going to do. So we can just keep doing this.
Yeah, we just keep doing this. Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
I like Group. He had one attempt. And we told you Group was solid. He was solid most of camp. Yeah. And I think his window is about 50. His max will probably be about 53. But we'll see. Because he's one of those kickers that can go 18 for 18. And then he can have like 2 bad misses. Like, he's streaky. He's a super confident kid. Believes in himself. I think he's going to have a good season. And Stott, we did that show on special teams. There was a couple of kicks from him that kind of shocked me. He got better as the game went on, but early he had a couple of low-line drives, and that wasn't him. Consistently in camp, his balls were 40 to 45 yards, but they were good because he was really good at elevation and giving the return coverage time to get down there. So, yeah. All right, bro, let's go to your grades. Give me your grades for your quarterback.
Give him a C. Solid C. Thought he did some good things, just not enough. It was middle of the road performance. Could have been better. Wasn't too bad.
Offensive line.
Give them a C. We scored 7 points. It's just not good enough.
Wide receivers.
Question mark. I don't even know what to give them. They flashed when we asked them to flash, but we didn't ask them to do much else. So, I mean, you could give them a B for showing and flashing potential.
Tight ends. I'll tell you now, the tight ends struggled in the blocking game. They struggled. Both. Mayer and Bowden. They struggled.
I'll give them a C plus just because they were the most active of any unit on offense. But the level of productivity can't solely come from them or them being the lead group that's doing that. But I'll give them a C plus.
Let's see. A lot of people in the chat think you're being generous with the grades because I'm looking at their grades. I would not want to have LL Nation as a teacher, bro. Man.
Not nice.
Running backs.
They didn't get a chance.
That's what I'm saying. That had to be incomplete too. Like
incomplete. Like first half, great. Second half, I don't even think they showed up.
Defensive side of the ball. This should be interesting. This should be interesting because I'm interested in seeing if anybody gets an A. Well, because of the fourth quarter, I don't know if someone can actually get an A. But let's go ahead and start with the defensive line, who, held their own. And I had this discussion. It looked like
C plus. C plus, man.
You give him a C plus?
Because where was Fauski? Where was Fauski? C plus because we gave up the fourth quarter, and C plus because Fauski is supposed to be the man. He came back to be the man.
Mm-hmm.
You did not help your draft stock that game. Even though you played as a unit good, specifically that game, you're supposed to have 2 sacks, TFLs, a couple celebrations or something, But good grief.
First half, I will say this. When you look at the film, it looked like they wanted to rush C.J. Stroud and kind of envelop him because you didn't see Riley Mills or Isaiah Foskey really firing off the edge with speed. It's kind of like they would just run into the tackles and then try to push them back into C.J. Stroud. And I'm like, okay, are they so focused on stopping the run that they don't want to get gashed by running past and getting hit by a draw or something like that? But at some point, you just have to, especially on 3rd and 10, you just have to come after the guy and get him on the ground. So if we go through this season and the blitzes are the only thing that are going to get quarterbacks on the ground, it's going to be a problem. Eventually, it's going to be a problem, especially when teams get film on Al Golden and his defense and his tendencies. Linebackers, here you go. We can talk the next 10 minutes on this after you give your grades.
I want to give half a grade. Half a grade is a B for Maris, and then C minus for the other guys on the field. Because the other guys on the field, it just the defense around you got better. Individually, it's just not enough for the team we played. I think if we play any other team that's not winning the national championship this year, which is only 3 or 4 teams, individually as a player, they're not going to be good enough in those moments. So because you individually aren't going to be able to play at a high level in those moments, I can't give you lower than a C. But because those moments get exposed, I can't give you higher than a C. Mayor's talent level could compete in those big games. We got to find 2 other guys in that room.
Timing seemed to be an issue. As well as they played, when they did blitz, the timing wasn't great.
Right.
whether it was the linebackers or the safety. So maybe that's something that's real easy to correct in film sessions. But I agree with you. And I'll be honest. I'm about done. I'm about done. Someone asked earlier in the chat, where was Prince Collie? I don't know. But I'm about done with JD and Bo missing tackles.
Kaiser.
Maybe you played them for 2.5 quarters and put other people in there in the fourth quarter.
And let them play special teams.
Yo, and Junior, just when the depth chart came out, I was shocked. Because I'm going to be honest. Watching spring and fall camp, Junior was a star. As a true freshman, for him to be able to command and be able to make the calls, coming in as a true freshman and immediately shoot to the top of the depth chart, to be able to challenge seniors that everybody says they're so smart. Okay, he's smart too. And if you take me, and I'm talking about a senior from a talent standpoint, and let's say the freshman is here and the senior is here, I'm playing the freshman. I got this dude for at least 3 years. Like, I'm playing him right now. Because I promise you, in 4 or 5 weeks, he's going to be here. Because this senior is who he is. Like, we know who Bo Bauer is. We know who J.D. Bertrand is. And we know who Kaiser is. We know who they are. We know who they are. So you have guys like Prince Collie and Junior Maka. You have guys like that. Let them play, man. Just let them play. Can you imagine if Jalen had to sit coming in as a freshman?
He almost did until Danny Spahn got hurt.
That's what I'm saying. That's foolishness. That's absolute foolishness. Really? Danny Spahn, Jalen Smith. And we were really thinking about not starting this kid.
Yeah, Jalen wouldn't have started Danny Spahn to get hurt. He would have played. He wouldn't have started.
That's crazy. What's your secondary grade, bro? You want to do this individually, don't you? You want to give individual grades out for this, don't you? I already know how you roll.
I think as a unit, I can give them a B+. I would give Cam a lesser grade, but I think Clarence Lewis played really well, man.
Yo, LL Nation, look, LL Nation, dog this dude all off season.
That's
Give this man his flowers. It was one game, but it was against real good competition. He showed up. He competed. Give Clarence Lewis some love today.
That's right.
Give him some love today. The same way you all were so hesitant about how he's going to play, give him some love because he played very well. Go ahead, bro.
So 100% thought it was great. From what the expectation was from that secondary going in and how they met that expectation. Not that we're excited to take players out, but we even managed to keep a Jackson and Jigba Smith under wraps for a while. So you have to give credit that Cam Hart had a little bit of injury and they took advantage of it. But outside of that drive, I mean, he played pretty well all around too. So the strongest unit was our secondary, but that front seven could have, should have, and was expected to be better going into that game.
Which podcast last week said that secondary was going to surprise a lot of people?
This one.
I'm saying, man.
Just saying.
We told you, we kept telling you all off season how good Jaden Mickey and Ben Morrison were. We kept telling you. And we kept giving flowers to our boy, Coach Mick, because he has a resume that shows that he knows how to get freshman defensive backs ready to go. That's his resume. right? And that's the same thing we're waiting to see. There's some things that Tommy Rees needs to add to his resume as an offensive coordinator. We believe in the resume of Harry Easton, which gives us confidence that the O-line is going to get better. I saw it for myself, how fundamentally Chancey Stuckey has improved the wide receivers. So we'll wait and see. We'll wait and see. But those linebackers, bro, I'm almost ready. I'll give them a couple of weeks. And they're going to be challenged again this week because they're going to face a Marshall team that even though they faced inferior competition in their first game, they did rush for 300 yards. They rushed for 300 yards. So I expect them to go up tempo. I expect them to spread Notre Dame out, and I expect them to try to take advantage of our linebackers.
Yeah.
I fully expect it. But I do expect the Notre Dame defensive line to be more fierce this week. I think they'll get after it. So we'll see.
We will see.
You happy to hear your boy Jack Collinsworth on the call, bro?
It's always good to see another classmate in there doing his thing, man. So shout out to Jack, real guy.
Yeah. My guys Paul Burmeister and Ryan Harris once again on the radio call. Jason Garrett, his first time as the Notre Dame color analyst with Jack Collinsworth. I know LL Nation, a lot of you guys don't like the combo, but hey, we'll see. You know, they may be good. They may be good. And don't forget Zora Stevenson will be on the sidelines. Marshall, Notre Dame this Saturday. I'm trying to see, what is the spread? Is anybody in LL Nation? I haven't checked it out. What's the spread for that game? And we won't know. I think the polls come out this afternoon. I still expect Notre Dame to be in the top 10. Even though they lost, I still expect Notre Dame to be in the top 10.
We're definitely going to be fighting, that's for sure. Just stay around. So, we'll figure it out.
How do you think the coordinators? Al Golden gets a what?
Al Golden gets an A+, because nobody's going to hold Ohio State to 21, especially 7 in the first 3 quarters all season.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel really good that he's doing his job on that part.
I see it now. The spread is 18.5 up to 20.5. I can't take it. I would take Marshall right now. Just because I don't know. I don't know.
We'll score a lot because they're not a good team, but I wouldn't hold my hat on it.
No. Coach F turned it around. Coach Huff, he turned it around. They went 7-6 last year. Style of play, much smaller squad. You know, based on speed. Like I said, they rushed for 380 yards last week, but I mean, they really didn't play anybody. Quarterback was just efficient, a little bit over 200. So we'll see. I can guarantee you they're not putting up 600 yards of offense this week. I guarantee that. If that's a prop bet out there, whatever it is, for offensive yards for Marshall, take the under in this matchup. Lucky Lefty Podcast. Share the shows on your social media, other platforms. Let everybody know Lucky Lefty Podcast. We spin it different. Hit us up on Twitter at SD2Mics, at Malik Zaire 8. Hit that like button and the notification bell so you know whenever we go live. It's been a tough one. You enjoy that game last night? Georgia Tech hung around for a little bit, bro.
Man, it just sucks to see stifle quarterback play when I feel like both of them are talented. I wanted to see more.
Oh, I really like Jeff Sims, man.
I like Jeff Sims.
I like him a lot. I just hate. I thought Chip Long did a really good job in the first half.
Yes. Yes. To me, Jeff Sims is more like a poor man's Lamar. I think he's not as dynamic, but he's got a lot of talent. More of a Brett Hundley situation, but he'll have a good season this year.
Yeah, I like the kid. I just hate that he's at that program, and it's just Jeff Collins just doesn't have the Georgia Tech program in a good position right now. I don't see it getting better. But yeah, he wasn't scared. You can see that he wasn't scared at all. He was ready to compete. And although the front seven of Clemson is formidable, if you can hold up, you can get to them on the back end.
Oh yeah, we acknowledge you can get to them on the back end easy. For us, it's just a matter of being aggressive or not, man. If we're not going to be aggressive, it doesn't matter.
Yeah,
it just doesn't matter.
Yeah. You know what time it is, bro?
Petticoat. Petticoat. Petticoat Junction.
It's time to get petty.
Oh, we did a good job executing.
Are you upset with something?
And fire up the Petticoat Junction train.
I just don't like you.
You don't?
No.
What is today's petty historic? Petty Junction.
Right. Petty Junction. Petty stories of the day. Someone said it did something that was super petty, brought to you by Onora Whisky. OnoraWhiskey.com. That premium American whiskey. OnoraWhiskey.com. Yo, shout out to Shaun Butte and the LSU wide receivers that cleaned and washed their Instagram of all the LSU stuff. I guess he got into it with Brian Kelly post game. It's been put out there.
Called him a fake Ed Orgeron. See,
all the fake stuff
Kelly can't
put out there.
See, Kelly can't go down there and do all them little games. Talking about football. I told you, Sean Crawford. What resources? The only resources that was shared was the $100 million Kelly got. They don't got no more resources than us, dude. And them players ain't going for that. They're not going for the shut up and be quiet and take this loss and be frustrated. They're not taking that because they're not those type of Notre Dame players.
Yeah, I look.
You better jump back in the Cincinnati bag with Marty Gilliard and get the, get to acting like you're Cincinnati again.
Yo, I saw the reports about the fake Ed Orgeron stuff. I don't know how true they are, but they did scrub their Instagrams of any connection to LSU. Shaun Butte, who is projected to be a first-round pick. And it's very interesting. If he's that upset, he could actually just leave the team and just get ready for the draft. He still probably would get drafted. The LSU wide receivers.
Indictment. First-round receivers leaving the team.
I mean, but LSU receivers have done that already.
No. LSU receivers have decided not to come back after a championship.
Yeah, that's different.
LSU receivers ain't come back being projected and quit. That's different.
That's different. That's a little different. But I will say this. Yo, Brian Polian, the gift that keeps on giving.
Mm-hmm.
It keeps on giving. And Brian Kelly's on the petty train because he gave the same speech he gave for 11 years at Notre Dame. My players, my players, my players. Not I, not I, not I. It's all about my players. They didn't get the job done. My players are the reason that we came out flat. It's amazing.
It's amazing.
Amazing. But when people show you who they are, believe them.
Believe them.
Believe them. Right? Because when he's at Notre Dame, he didn't have receivers.
Yeah.
Now he has receivers, and it's still a problem. It's still a problem. Would you count that as a big game? Superdome, LSU versus Florida State?
It's
We
a
can add
big
that to
game
the big game
because
bracket.
it's a big game because of who it is. He's supposed to win that with a better team with more football resources. You're supposed to win that. You beat this same team without their first round edge rusher last year with less football resources, but more talent. Less football resources, more talent. And we won at their place with a quarterback that was a backup in the Big Ten that we had throw for 500 yards in the Fiesta Bowl.
Yeah.
With less resources. So,
and I'm putting the Chicago Bears on the petty train, bro. Yeah, they're being super petty towards Mayor Lori Lightfoot of Chicago, who is going to go down in history as the mayor that lost the Chicago Bears. I feel so bad for her. Like that is her legacy. You lost the Chicago Bears to Arlington Heights, dude. And from what I'm hearing, the show that they are about to put on to unveil their new stadium on tomorrow is it's going to be quite an embarrassing moment for the legislation of the city of Chicago. The Bears didn't have to do it like this, man.
Lost it to Arlington. Huh?
Yeah, they are they are going all the way out with this, dude. That's no expensive spare thing, dude. Just to unveil. This is just the unveiling. This isn't a ribbon cutting and the stadium is actually constructed. No, they're just showing pictures. And it's going to be a show. An absolute show. I feel bad. Siggy 13.
Yeah, it's tough.
Oh, man. Hey, guys, we appreciate you guys. We keep climbing. We're about to tap over 2,700. Like you said, we're going to get to that 3,000. Yeah, we're about to tap over 2,700 subscribers. We're about to get to 3,000 before the season is over. It's all because of you guys. We appreciate you. We come here and do it every day because of you guys, because you're great and you're hella funny each and every day. Hella funny. Right. We'll see. You know what? I kind of agree with you, but I won't say too much. We'll see how they do that.
Yeah,
we'll see. How
let's talk about Marshall.
I want to see how their receivers do against the tough competition in the Big Ten.
Yeah.
No, so different.
That put on the 37.
Yeah. That Big Ten conference is it's tough. It's tough. Have a great day. Don't forget, share, hit the like button. Most of all, hit that notification bell so you can stay connected. Lucky Lefty Podcast for Lucky SD2 mics. Have a great day. Most of all, make sure that you spend it different today.